Hey Zane, we're back, and we're going to talk about GDP mat and trade mats, I believe.
Yes, probably my favourite mats. I think there's a theme going on here. I might have everything as a favourite.
No.
You wait till I get to the science.
Oh, you really do love the science.
Yes, so GDP tracker. So every national country will have one of these on their team table, and it will be where we track how much income. So GDP sort of covers every sort of type of income. It's a slightly abstracted way of gaining money in the game, and this tracker will tell you how much you're getting. And you see the number in the triangles, Chris?
Hmm.
That's the amount of money you get, and you get the amount of money to the left of your tracker. So if you're here, test for you, Chris, how much do you get?
I think I get 30.
Exactly. Simple as that. Even if you're very close to 40, you still get 30 until you're on or past the triangle with the money on.
Okay.
You're going to ask me how they go up and down.
I am indeed.
Yeah. So, easiest way to get them to go up is to import commodities. As you import, we'll look at the commodities and the trade mat in a minute, but as you import them, you get bonuses which improve your GDP. And they will go up. Every time you see a little symbol, that triangle with a line going up in, you get to move that many along. So, get to move
And those
one or
little
two.
triangles are the sort of the ones in circles, basically.
Yes.
It's a little step each time.
Yeah, and the triangle itself is also a step, so you don't bounce over the 30. The 30 is included in it.
Okay.
Yes, so commodities, that's probably the best and easiest way to improve your GDP. Completing objectives, so every team will start with some fun objective cards, and if you're the UK or France, one of you will start with the fishing rights, and this one gives you a +1 if you're holding the card, so you get to move it on. If you're no longer getting the card, you no longer have that +1. Also, if you help resolve crisis, so if there's an earthquake somewhere and you're involved in resolving that earthquake, you might get a nice +1. If you fix your satellites, if they've been damaged, you get +2. And at facilitator's discretion, so this could be for various reasons that they've decided you rewarded an extra one, so that could be all sorts of free play.
Okay. And we must say that most of the time you go up or down, it'll be via one little step, not via one of those massive triangles.
No, yeah, jumping between it or to the next one, it will say level. So every little one is known as a step, and then the triangle to triangle is known as a level. I think there are some rare cases where you will drop or go up a whole level.
Mm-hmm.
Usually stuff to do with nuclear war, I believe.
Sure.
Which takes us to decreasing. So if you lose your imports, you'll go down the number of slots depending on the trade mat. If you have something called a destabilization attack, you'll drop down 1, and there'll probably be a terror cube in your territory to show that as well. If your satellite's damaged, it'll go down 2. You'll notice that once you repair your satellite, it goes up by 2. So, if there's a regional crisis, you lose 1. If there's a nuclear strike on you, or even around you, it just says major because it depends who caused the strike and why and where, etc. And you'll also lose 1 GDP if you just start wars without any real reason. And facilitator discretion. So there might be other actions you do as a team that drop your GDP. And GDP sometimes will represent sort of the people's thought of how you're running the country. So if they think you're doing a great job, it might go up. If they think you're doing a scary job, it might drop down.
It never drops down for me.
It only ever goes down.
and is it whose responsibility is it to change these levels and move the counter up and down?
So I'd say if the foreign minister's around, because they're dealing with the trade map, and that's the main variable up and down, the liaison facilitator for your region will also tell you to move it up or down. And your regional liaison will also get you your income or tell you to come to them in phase 3 to pick up income.
Okay, but it's mainly the player's responsibility to move this around,
Yes.
and so we're trusting everybody to do the right thing. If we notice you've suddenly gone up by 40 points, then we're going to come asking questions.
Absolutely. Your liaison will understand roughly where you should be and how much you're sort of changing. They've got a lot to deal with, so there's a lot of trust in the player to move things and do things by themselves. We're not there to watch and do everything for everyone.
No.
Shall we have a look at the trade map? Well, your trade map will look something like this at the start, with your imports all empty and your exports all ready to go out. Now these are sort of additional to whatever exports and imports you might already have it going on within the game world. These are sort of the movable ones. So obviously every country's got hundreds of trade agreements with all sorts of other people. These are sort of bonus ones, let's call them. Abstracted other ones that we can make trade deals on now. We all know how quick it is to make a trade deal, don't we? It doesn't take long at all.
A few days, isn't it?
Yeah. So you'll see that everyone has primary and secondary. So here they've got minerals and textiles. Minerals are their primary and textiles are their secondary. They have 2 each. When they export them, they get a lovely +2 mega credits each turn. So that's not steps, Chris. You don't move up your token. You just get an extra 2 on top of what you're earning. So if you're there, you get 42. Okay. A little bit of maths for you to do. So,
and when you say exporting it, what am I doing with that card when I export it?
So that needs to be in another player's import. So you've given that to another player to place on their import. Again, we have to trust that you are putting them on your imports and trading them. They shouldn't just be sort of discarded somewhere or in a back pocket. They should either be on your exports map or being given to another player to place on their imports.
And what can I trade them with another player for?
Absolutely anything you can think of, Chris. You know, a promise not to be hit by nuclear missiles. Let's stop talking about nuclear missiles, Chris.
Yeah, please do. Please don't discuss them.
Yeah, absolutely anything. So it could be a promise of defence, it could be money, it could be unit upgrades, action cards, all sorts of different bits and bobs.
And a literal swap of commodity cards is also fine, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, swap card for card or card for 2 cards, whatever deals you want to make. This will be a little bit of an icebreaker at the start of the game, so you probably want to get straight out there, talking to the other foreign ministers, trying to make deals as quickly as possible. Get your exports out and get some imports coming in on your side, because you'll need that GDP. That brings us then to imports. So let's pretend they've got some lovely imports coming in. He's been off, well, they've been off, come back with a load of imports. Very nice. So we've got a couple of 3 different rows, Chris. The first row at the top is basically any kind of commodity can go in there. Doesn't matter, you don't care. Just get something into our country. And if both of those are filled, you get a +2 steps. So if I came back and I managed to get these 2, I get a nice little +2 to my GDP tracker.
Okay.
Very nice. This second one and third one are slightly different, because they actually want a specific commodity. Although you can put any commodity in there, you won't get any bonus from it. So if I put machinery in here, I'm not actually gaining any bonus.
Okay, so it's got to be oil.
It's got to be oil. So here, look, states are clearly making loads of oil. Don't know where they got that from. Stolen it from someone probably. Got an oil in there. They get a +1 for the matching, and then if they get the full set, they actually get a +4 instead of a 3. So there's a little bonus. So if all 3, but those slots have to be filled with the right ones to get that bonus. If they're filled with 3 non-matching ones, no real bonus, apart from having commodities to use for other things if they can work out how to. And then this final one, this one needs vehicles and metals. They get a +1, but it also unlocks another commodity to trade. And they can only get that when those 2 are filled. And then if they, obviously these aren't quite the right ones, but if they were filled with vehicles, you'd have thought I'd have got the right cards ready, wouldn't you, Chris? You know, before starting this. But if they have precious metals and vehicles in there, they get to export their chemicals card.
And that means obviously they can go and take it to another team and go, we've got our chemicals card, you need it.
Yeah.
We can get a promise or another card or money, whatever we want.
Yep. And at any point in the game, you might find those players might come back and need their commodities back for some other reason. So America might go, oh, sorry, need that oil back. And if they do that, you drop your GDP. And the same if you decide to go and take back your cards. If you've traded all those away, but you decide that you don't want to be trading textiles with someone, bring it back and you place it back here. Don't keep it in your back pocket, because you no longer get the bonus from having that out traded.
Yeah, and you might want to be doing that for sanctions reasons. Maybe a club of countries have decided to punish somebody for doing something. So you will be punishing them, because you're making, a group of you will be making that country drop quite a lot of money, but also you're going to feel the pressure as well, much like sanctions in real life.
Yes. And that, Chris, is GDP tracker and trade mat all in one.
Awesome. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
See you on the next one.
Bye.